Can someone track down the women Kamala Harris says are bleeding out in parts?
Present. I'm right here. I had a 19-day miscarriage in Idaho because of the abortion regulations. I was turned away not from one ER, but 2 ERs. Technically 3, because I walked into one and they said they wouldn't help me and I had to walk out. On day 8, I went to the 3rd official ER that I got checked into, and I never did receive a DNC. They gave me 1 dose of pain medicine in 19 days. I continued to suffer exponentially for the next 11 days.
That was John McEntee. You may have seen his videos on TikTok or Instagram, or maybe you've seen Walter Matherson spoof his videos, but he's always sitting, usually eating. In this video, it looks like he's eating a kid's meal of chicken nuggets. And then he always presents some very conservative talking point or a criticism of a liberal or progressive talking point in a succinct, snarky way, as if he's just wondering about things and shrugging. It's a perfect format for short-form political content, the kind of content where you don't want your audience to think too hard about what they just watched. You don't want to discuss or explain your point at all. You just want to plant seeds in their minds, maybe enrage them to the point of actually engaging with your content. You just want to make them feel like their half-baked beliefs are fully cooked and set. But McEntee isn't just a social media influencer. He's well established on the right as a Project 2025 staffer, and he was the director of White House personnel in the Trump administration.
He was literally the man closest to the president, John McEntee, President Trump's personal assistant, his body man, abruptly forced out of his post and escorted off the White House grounds Monday. NBC News confirming McEntee is under investigation by the Secret Service for serious financial crimes.
According to the Wall Street Journal, McEntee was a habitual gambler, betting tens of thousands of dollars at a time, and was deemed a security risk as a result. Then Chief of Staff to the President, John Kelly, effectively had him tossed off the White House premises. We should note he was not ever charged with a crime. But in spite of it all, McEntee is nothing if not loyal to Donald Trump. Former college football player and Fox News production assistant, was such a strong believer in Trump's message that back in 2015, he repeatedly cold emailed the Trump campaign begging for a job before the campaign eventually brought him on as a volunteer and then as a paid staffer. McEntee was so committed to the cause that he worked out of this space in Trump Tower, 3 walls and an unfinished floor.
He, like vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance, is backed by tech billionaire Peter Thiel, and he founded a Trumpy right-wing dating app called Date Right Stuff. I hate that name, by the way. I think it's clunky, and I think that maybe he could have done better. So in the video you just saw, McEntee insinuated that women in this country are not actually suffering as much from abortion bans as Democrats, specifically Kamala Harris, keep saying they are. He acts as though just because he doesn't know anyone who's experienced the negative side of these red state abortion bans, they're probably not real. At least he wants his audience to believe that they're not real. Unfortunately for him, his video went viral, so the women that he was asking about, they made themselves known, either by posting video responses of their own horrifying stories or detailing their stories in the comments. Here are just a few of the responses. One woman said, "My water suddenly broke and I went to the ER. They sent me home. Started cramping and went back to the ER. I miscarried at 17 weeks in the restroom at the ER because I wasn't deemed an emergency." So it doesn't sound like she was trying to kill her baby. Another woman said, "I was told when I had a possible ectopic pregnancy that I would have to wait until it made me septic to get the surgery to save my life." That is solid medical advice right there. Wait until you're nearly dead and then we'll do our best to reverse course. And one more, "Had a cyst burst inside my uterus while pregnant, causing a miscarriage. The on-call doc said it's best to wait a week to see if it comes out naturally. Now I can have 0 children because my uterus is gone." That was a preventable outcome, and again, this is coming from a woman who wanted to have children, and now she can't. Meanwhile, Republicans can't seem to stop criticizing women for being childless. And personally, I don't have his story because I will be 36 years old this October. I'm getting married a few weeks later in November, and I'm too scared to get pregnant in this big, stupid state. Because as healthy as I think I am, and as much as I've never wanted to abort a baby, you just have no idea what will happen once you get pregnant. You can only plan ahead so much, and every woman knows that, or they should know that. Before I wrap this video, I want to speak very quickly about McEntee's word choice in the video. As I alluded to just now, I live in a red state, I live in Texas, so when he started off with, "Can someone track down the women?" my first thought went to what my state's Attorney General, Ken Paxton, is trying to do to women here in Texas. If you haven't put it together yet, he wants to track women. Specifically, he wants to violate our rights further to medical privacy by accessing the medical records of women who travel out of state to receive reproductive care. And here in Texas, traveling for hundreds of miles out of the regressive deep south just to get to a state that will actually take care of pregnant women is the only hope some women have of either having a healthy pregnancy or accessing life-saving abortive care. The doctors here in Texas can't help even if they wanted to. If they did and got caught, they can lose their license to practice medicine and they could be facing a lifetime prison sentence. Paxton is suing the Biden administration for the right to sidestep rules protecting medical privacy where it pertains to Texas women seeking abortions in other states where it is legal. For the Republicans, they constantly insist that their stances on abortion and women's reproductive health are a matter of states' rights and not a matter of religious, dogmatic zealotry, and certainly not a means of controlling and suppressing half of the population. When the Republican state leaders start worrying about what's going on in other states, that seems to be going a little bit beyond states' rights. It seems incongruent with their primary argument, but Paxton claims that the federal rule protecting medical privacy is actually the federal government interfering in the state government's ability to prosecute criminal behavior, even though the so-called criminal behavior of protecting one's own life would be happening out of state, therefore out of the state's jurisdiction. Now, just to be clear, he wants permission to violate HIPAA on political grounds. He wants to claim that he's acting on behalf of criminality, but it's only a crime because he called it a crime. In response to the lawsuit, the Department of Health and Human Services released a statement saying, "The Biden-Harris administration remains committed to protecting reproductive health privacy and ensuring that no woman's medical records are used against her, her doctor, or her loved one simply because she got the lawful reproductive care she needed." All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks.